Word count. 1,500 words. Slide 1. Start. Mysterious ambient music plays. Softly you believe you are in control of your decisions, that your choices are your own. But what if this sense of agency is merely an illusion, a comforting narrative crafted by your brain? Welcome to the labyrinth of human behavior, where nothing is quite as it seems, and the true architects of your actions operate in shadows beyond your awareness. Every day, you make approximately 35,000 decisions, from the mundane to the momentous. Yet research suggests that over 95% of your behavior originates not from conscious deliberation, but from hidden realms of your mind. Today, we venture into these concealed dimensions, where science has begun to illuminate the enigmatic forces that truly govern human conduct. For centuries, philosophers pondered the nature of human behavior, but it wasn't until the late 19th century that the systematic study of the mind emerged. What began with Wilhelm Wundt's primitive psychology laboratory has evolved into a sophisticated field using technologies that can peer into the living brain, revealing secrets that would have seemed like sorcery to our ancestors. Let us begin our exploration with perhaps the most baffling discovery of modern psychology: the realization that your conscious mind is often merely a spectator, witnessing decisions that have already been made in the hidden machinery of your brain. Consider the groundbreaking work of neuroscientist Benjamin Libet, who discovered that the brain activity indicating a decision occurs approximately 200 milliseconds before you become aware of making that decision. Even more astonishing, with modern brain imaging, scientists can now predict your choices up to 7 seconds before you believe you've made them. What then does this suggest about your sense of free will? Equally perplexing are cognitive biases, systematic errors in thinking that affect your decisions in predictable ways. The anchoring effect, for instance, silently tethers your numerical judgments to previously encountered numbers, even when they're completely irrelevant. In one experiment, participants who were first asked if Gandhi died before or after age 140 subsequently estimated his actual age to be significantly higher than those first asked if he died before or after age 9. Perhaps most disquieting is the phenomenon of choice blindness, demonstrated by psychologist Petter Johansson. When participants selected between two photographs of faces based on attractiveness, then were secretly shown the face they had rejected, but told it was their choice. An astonishing 80% not only failed to notice the switch, but proceeded to confabulate detailed reasons for choosing the very face they had actually rejected. Your mind, it seems, is expert at inventing post hoc justifications for behaviors it doesn't truly understand. The split-brain studies of Roger Sperry and Michael Gazzaniga reveal an even more profound fracturing of consciousness. When the corpus callosum connecting the brain's hemispheres is severed, the right hand literally doesn't know what the left is doing. Yet both sides construct coherent, though separate, narratives about their actions. Are you, then, one unified consciousness, or a coalition of systems creating an illusion of singularity? Equally mysterious is how your behavior transforms in the presence of others. Consider Solomon Asch's conformity experiments, where participants denied the evidence of their own eyes rather than contradict the obviously incorrect judgments of others. 1/3 of subjects consistently gave wrong answers when surrounded by confederates doing the same, surrendering their perception to the collective. More disturbing still was Stanley Milgram's revelation of our susceptibility to authority. Ordinary citizens, believing they were participating in a learning experiment, administered what they thought were potentially lethal electric shocks to strangers simply because a man in a lab coat instructed them to continue. A staggering 65% delivered the maximum voltage despite hearing screams of agony from the supposed victim. Philip Zimbardo's infamous Stanford prison experiment further unveiled how readily we adopt social roles. Students randomly assigned as guards in a simulated prison became so cruel to those designated as prisoners that the 2-week study was terminated after just 6 days. The line between your intrinsic character and your socially constructed behavior may be far thinner than you imagine. The phenomenon of social mimicry adds another layer to this mystery. You unconsciously mirror the postures, mannerisms, and even speech patterns of those around you, a behavior that strengthens social bonds but occurs entirely beneath conscious awareness. Next time you're in conversation, notice how often you and your partner synchronize movements without realizing it. Perhaps most chilling is the bystander effect, where your likelihood of helping someone in distress decreases as the number of other witnesses increases. In emergencies, the diffusion of responsibility causes collective inaction, each person assuming someone else will intervene. This effect is so powerful that victims of public emergencies are statistically more likely to receive help when there is a single bystander than when surrounded by a crowd. Venturing deeper into the physiological underpinnings of behavior, we discover that your actions are profoundly shaped by an intricate chemical ballet within your brain. Dopamine, once thought to be simply a pleasure molecule, is now understood as a prediction system, responding not to rewards themselves, but to unexpected rewards, driving you to seek novelty and learn from experience. This dopaminergic system explains the insidious nature of addiction, where substances or behaviors hijack the very mechanisms evolved to help you learn and survive. But it also illuminates the formation of everyday habits, where initial rewards gradually transfer their motivational power to the cues that predict them, creating automatic behavior patterns that eventually require little conscious input. Your stress response system adds another dimension to this chemical choreography. When threatened, a cascade of hormones including adrenaline and cortisol prepares your body for fight or flight, narrowing attention and biasing decision-making toward short-term survival over long-term planning. In our modern world, where stressors rarely require physical action, this ancient system can sabotage rational choices. Even your social attachments and romantic attractions are governed by molecular messengers. Oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, creates neural bonding after intimate contact. Prairie voles, normally promiscuous, become monogamous after oxytocin release during mating. When researchers block this hormone, the bonding never occurs, raising profound questions about the chemical nature of what we call love. Through the lens of evolutionary psychology, these behaviors become even more comprehensible, if no less strange. Your mind was shaped not for rationality or happiness, but for genetic propagation in environments vastly different from today's world. The behaviors that seem most irrational in modern contexts often made perfect adaptive sense on the ancestral savanna. Consider mate selection. Cross-culturally, heterosexual men tend to value youth and physical features indicating fertility, while heterosexual women often prioritize resources and social status, precisely the attributes that would have maximized reproductive success in our evolutionary past. These preferences persist even in societies where their original utility has diminished. The phenomenon of kin selection explains why you feel a stronger imperative to help blood relatives than strangers. Your shared genes make their survival relevant to your genetic legacy. This biological imperative has shaped family structures across cultures and explains the universal incest taboo that prevents harmful inbreeding. Status seeking, too, finds its roots in our evolutionary heritage. Higher status historically translated to greater reproductive opportunities and better offspring survival. The modern manifestations, luxury goods, conspicuous consumption, career ambition, may seem removed from these origins, but the underlying drive remains unchanged. If these revelations seem to strip human behavior of its mystery or even dignity, consider an alternative perspective. Perhaps the most remarkable feature of our species is that we can study these forces scientifically at all. The same brain that is subject to these influences is capable of discovering and understanding them. This self-awareness creates an intriguing possibility. By understanding the hidden forces that shape behavior, might we gain some measure of freedom from them? Research suggests that merely being aware of biases can help mitigate their effects. The science that reveals our deterministic underpinnings may ultimately enhance our capacity for choice. Yet this knowledge raises profound ethical questions. As we decode the neural and genetic basis of behaviors once attributed to character or morality, how does this affect concepts of responsibility? If criminal behavior stems from brain abnormalities, does punishment lose its justification? Does understanding diminish or enhance our humanity? As we conclude our exploration of human behavior, Remember that you exist at an unprecedented moment in history, when the species that named itself Homo sapiens, wise man, has turned its gaze inward to comprehend its own nature. The patterns governing your actions, once invisible, now come into focus through the lens of science. In our next journey together, we'll venture into another realm of scientific discovery, building upon these insights to explore new frontiers of understanding. Until then, perhaps observe yourself with fresh eyes, noticing the hidden currents that shape your choices, your relationships, and your life's direction. In awareness, perhaps, lies the beginning of true freedom.